Welcome to A Balanced Life on the Go. I'm Dr. Nicole Lindsay, your host on this podcast, along with Dr. Brian Jeanette. This is a podcast designed to help connect you to a more balanced life on the go. Each week, we will bring you simple, concise, and easy to implement ideas, tips, and strategies to help you connect to better nutrition, movement, and thinking so you can achieve balance in your busy life. Isn't this what life is all about? Trying to achieve balance so that we can be healthy, happy, and live to our fullest potential. We're glad you joined us. Let's get started. All right, welcome everybody. Today is podcast number 16, The Power of pH Balancing.
pH balancing. Do you know what your pH is?
I have not checked it today, but I should. So immediately following this, I will.
Checking your pH balance is a very easy way to kind of tell the overall health and balance of your body. So what is the pH?
The pH is a scale used to specify how acidic or basic that your body is, or anything is, in any given time. If you have a pool or a hot tub, I'm sure at some point you've stuck a strip in there to check the pH of it to make sure that it's safe for you to get in. Well, your body has a pH as well. And it can either be acidic, which is a lower pH, or a basic, which is going to be a higher pH. Right. So, for example, water at room temperature, has a pH of 7, so it's neutral. It's neither basic nor acidic. It's right in the middle.
Right. And so this scale, this acid-base scale, goes from 0, which is very, very incredibly acidic, to 0 to 14, which is very basic or alkaline.
Exactly. So just like your hot tub or your pool, if you have too much chlorine, too much bromine, not enough spa up or spa down, or whatever the chemical is.
You're not speaking my language. I wish I had a pool.
Yeah, right.
Or a hot tub.
Me too. But if that pool or hot tub is out of balance, then it's not safe for you to get in. And the same goes for your body. You need to have a very healthy pH in order for your body to have health internally. So that's what this podcast is about, pH and what it is specifically for your body and how you can test yours, and most importantly, how you can fix it if you're more acidic.
Right. So every living organism that we have, all the way from small little bacteria and viruses, all the way up to humans, one of the most complex organisms that are on the planet right now, there is a certain pH level or certain pH balance at which all living organisms live, and not only live, but thrive in. And even having a subtle change in your pH balance can make it so that you're only living and your body is not thriving.
So why is a healthy pH important? Well, every living thing must be at a certain pH to survive. So, for example, your stomach acids need to be at a certain pH to work properly. And humans, our life requires a certain pH, and that number is 7.4.
Right. So if we went to the doctor who does blood work, and they take blood work and they want to test the acidity or pH balance of your blood, a normal optimal level would be 7.4. If you went to a gastroenterologist and they did an endoscopy and they looked in your stomach and they pulled some stomach acid out, that stomach acid is going to be very, very low on the pH scale, because as we consume and eat foods, our body starts to digest it, and we have to have that acid in our stomach to digest that. But if that acid gets out, it can get up into our throat, like we have that acid reflux or that GERD, that's when we can start to have issues and problems with that.
Yeah, tissue breakdown. So really, our bodies want to be more alkaline internally. And why is this? Well, it's because when you're alkaline, specifically 7.4 is the magic number, your body can convert the free radicals to harmless things like water and oxygen. So your body in an alkaline state, your cells are going to be more in balance overall, more in homeostasis. Your cells they're going to thrive.
They receive that proper nourishment. And one of the things that it does is that actually can help to ease the waste products in our body. If we have a good alkaline state, our body's going to be able to withdraw a lot of the toxins that are in our body.
Yeah, another important thing that happens when you're more alkaline is a healthy inflammatory response. So we hear, especially during different seasons of the year, patients will say, I have allergies, and every time I go outside, I start sneezing, and I have an allergic reaction. And the reality is, if you are walking around with a very acidic internal environment, your inflammatory response is not healthy. And when you put yourself in an environment where your body has to work harder, it can't keep up with the demands. It cannot adapt to the changes in the environment, which is not healthy. You should be able to put yourself around pollen and not go into a full-fledged allergic reaction.
Histamine attack. When this happens, it's going to reduce your immune system. So if you have a lower pH balance in your body, you're going to have a weaker immune system. And then arguably one of the most important things that probably most of us have heard at some point in our life from friends or family is about bone density. When you're too acidic, your bones actually start to break down the calcium and other elements that make up the bone don't function properly, and your body can't lay down bone, so it gets very weak and brittle, so it leads to osteoporosis.
Yeah, which is crazy because we need bone density, especially as we age, right? We need our bones to be dense and strong and healthy, but when we're acidic, our body actually pulls these minerals out of the bone to neutralize these acids. So
and then boom, you fall and break your hip.
Exactly, yeah. So this is just a brief summary as to why we need to be alkaline, specifically 7.4 internally. Now,
Right.
when we're anything less than that, we are considered acidic. So what can happen to the human body when you're acidic? A lot of things, a lot of unhealthy things. First of all, your cells and inner environment become very, very toxic.
We put a lot of strain on our digestive system, particularly the large intestine, stomach, small intestine, and then the other organs like the liver and the kidneys. The liver and the kidneys play an important role in processing and helping us survive, creating more blood, detoxifying our blood. And when we have an improper acid-base balance in our blood, this leads to very, very serious health outcomes. Particularly the individuals that have insulin sensitivities, type 2 diabetes, uncontrolled blood glucose. They have lots and lots of problems with their blood pH balance, causing internal strife and damage.
Yeah, so higher levels of acidity, your body's not going to be able to flush out those free radicals, and that's going to stay in your body, which is going to cause more inflammation. And this is kind of a vicious cycle because more inflammation leads to chronic inflammation, leads to more health problems, a very unhealthy cellular internal environment, which makes you ripe for pathogens to grow. So bacteria, virus, when they land in your acidic gut or your acidic internal environment, they're more likely to grow. They're more likely to take root because they like that kind of environment. And guess what? So does cancer. So there's
Cancer's
nothing
horribly
healthy,
acidic.
Very acidic. Very acidic. Nothing healthy happening inside of your body when you are acidic.
So the main question that we need answered is, how do we get this way? How does the human body get to become acidic? Well, one of the big factors with this is just your diet. We're eating foods on a regular basis that promote acidity, which are, it's the stuff that we know that we shouldn't be eating. As soon as we say it, you're like, yeah, I know. It's the diet sodas, it's the carbonated sodas, it's the dairies, it's the trans fats, it's the cooked oils, it's the baked goods, it's the really refined, processed carbohydrates or sugars. Coffee tends to be on the little acidic side too, which is why we potentially have some dental issues with that. All of these are acidic in nature, but our body has the ability to take in these acidic things and neutralize them and make them alkaline. When we consume too much of them, our body, the dam just gets backed up. and it starts overflowing.
That's a really good picture you just painted there. The second way we get this way is lifestyle. And yes, lifestyle is diet, but also stress. When we are walking around with too much stress mentally, it can be physically, it can be repetitive stress. We build up inflammation in our joints and our body. That can make us acidic. Too many pharmaceutical drugs, if we're over medicated, which we know that in our country we are, that leads us to be very acidic internally. Too much alcohol, stimulants, and of course, coffee. Those are the things that really, in our lifestyle, that make us very acidic.
Right. So watch our social media later. We're going to post some good infographics on acidic foods and alkaline foods. One of the other things that really impacts our acidic levels in our blood, or our pH levels, is age, right? It's that age-old saying, well, I'm just getting older. That may be true, but there's so many things that we can do to combat father time, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So the older we get, our body starts to accumulate acid waste. And actually there's several good research studies, and one in particular that we'll quote that was published in the Journal of Gerontology, which shows that alkaline reserves remain constant until your age 40. After that, they start to decrease exponentially. And this is the perfect example of the system, of the dam gets backed up. We have too much of them up until a certain point that our body just can't handle that load anymore. And that's really when we start to see a lot of the degenerative diagnoses, right? The obesities, the chronic inflammation causing diabetes, heart disease. We talked about osteoporosis already, high blood pressure. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah, and it's interesting because people will say, well, I've eaten this way my whole life. Why should I change now? It didn't affect me earlier on. I didn't have these aches and pains. Well, this is precisely why, because your body can handle that excess toxic waste at a younger age. And then all of a sudden at that 40 age, so if you're feeling like, oh man, I just turned 40 and I'm starting to feel more aches and pains, well, if your diet is everything that we just described and you're feeling this way, then this could be part of it.
Listen, boxers don't get brain damage after one match. They get brain damage after 30 matches.
Exactly.
So it's accumulative stress that builds up.
So how do you test your pH? Well, what you need is a saliva test with litmus paper strips. And you can get these at your local pharmacy. You can get them online. We carry them in the office, and we actually check patients during their exams. On your next visit or appointment in the office, if you'd like to have us check your pH, ask us. You also need a pH color chart, so we can match that up with the chart immediately after we test your saliva.
So it's really easy. We just take this little test strip paper, and you kind of get a little bit of saliva on your tongue, and you hold the test strip in your mouth for about 10 seconds. About 1 to 2 seconds. And then you take that out, and then given 10 seconds later or so, you're going to compare what the color is on that strip with what the manufacturer has on their alkaline acid base chart with that. And so it's best to test this a few times a week for about 2 weeks, just so we can get a really good set of data points to see really where you fall. Because like you said, coffee can change it. Carbonated drinks can change it. The types of foods that we eat can change it. So the more data that we can gather, the more accurate the test can be.
Do you know what the pH of coffee is?
I actually don't.
It's 4.
Oh.
Do you know what the pH of soda is?
It's probably less.
2.
Yeah.
Yes, and remember, your normal pH is 7.4. And here's an interesting fact. Every point on that pH scale accounts or equates to 10 times. So if you test your pH and you are measuring at 6, that means you are 1.4 points below what you should be. So you're 10.5 times more acidic than what you should be.
Well, that's pretty severe and significant. So now leads us into the next part of this podcast is how to actually fix that pH. Well, again, if the number one thing that causes this in our modern 21st century life is refined carbohydrates, caffeine, carbonated drinks, it's your diet. Changing up your diet. So maybe not. So it's hard to talk about taking stuff away. So let's talk about things that we can add in to help it. So it's green foods, right? Examples of like barley, wheatgrass, chloria, spirulina, more vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, spinach, parsley, kale. You kind of getting the idea. It's these green type vegetables, and even fruits too. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, all the colors of the rainbow in berries, plums, pears, and peaches, and all great.
Yes, it's because mainly your cells, or when they're healthy, they thrive on an alkaline, oxygen-rich plant-based diet. Unhealthy cells, bacteria, viruses, they actually hate oxygen. So the more oxygen in your food, the more health you're going to have overall.
Totally. And your body processes them at a much easier rate. So it takes a lot less work and a lot less effort to process these. So you don't have that stomach cramp. You don't have that feeling of fullness or feeling of bloated or weighing down when you eat these things. That when you have those symptoms, your body has to take energy to them to break them down more. So it's taking energy away from healing. It's taking energy away from recovering. It's taking energy away from growing and, getting bigger muscles and sleeping better and, getting more brain cells.
Yes, or wanting to work out,
Yeah.
wanting to go for a walk. You'd rather sit on the couch when you get home because your body has no energy because it's used trying to flush this stuff out.
Right. So if you want to actually, subtract foods from your diets, it's all the pasteurized dairy products, it's the meats, it's the trans fats, it's the oils, it's the baked goods. If you look on the back of a product, pretty much if that product comes in a wrap and you look on the back of that and you're like, I have no idea what that word is. That's acidic. Yeah. Some sort of processed foods with that.
And then as far as, what kind of behaviors can you subtract? Well, are you taking something over the counter or is there a medication you can talk to your doctor about, maybe weaning off or taking less of? How about alcohol? Can you cut down to only drinking once a month versus every weekend? There's definitely ways that we can subtract the acidic lifestyle behaviors from our life to become more alkaline.
Absolutely. One of the supplements that we have here in the office is a greens first drink. And so this is a drink that's it's a superfoods complex. It's very alkaline, has a lot of good vegetables that create that base healthy omega oils in it, and all combines together to help to increase that pH balance.
It does a lot of things. It quenches those free radicals we were talking about, decreases your inflammation, alkalizes your surrounding tissue, and it definitely provides that proper acid-alkaline balance. It's really important to add something like this to your diet in addition to eating properly, because it's recommended that you have 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. That's hard to do. It's hard to do specifically because...
You have to sneak them in.
But our food, the quality of our food is just not there unless you're buying really good organic, and it's hard to do that as well. So if you are trying your best, it's still really a good thing to add a green drink supplement to your diet. Specifically, one that has chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll.
You remember learning about that in science class?
More like chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is great. Chlorophyll actually helps to give the plants that green color,
yes.
And it helps to absorb the light. So it's like the molecular structure of chlorophyll is very similar to hemoglobin, and that's the substance in our red blood cells that helps to transport oxygen. And so this chlorophyll helps your blood deliver more oxygen throughout your body. More oxygen means stronger cells. More oxygen means more blood, which means generally overall healthier.
Yes.
With this, we like this. Blood also helps to transport nutrients throughout the whole body. So it's transporting those building blocks to help repair that tissue, help repair that damage that's constantly happening.
Yes. So we know sunshine is good for us. It's good for us when we eat the sunshine as well in our plant foods. So that's what chlorophyll does for us. So if you check your pH on your own or here in the office and it shows up less than 7.0, how you're going to fix that is by subtracting some of those foods we talked about. Pick one thing from the acidic lifestyle behaviors that we talked about and take the green drink, the Greens First supplement, and you're going to do 2 green drinks a day.
If your pH ranges between 7.0 and 7.2, we're always trying to work on subtracting some of those very processed, chemically laden foods in your diet. But this prescription is more 1 to 2 green drinks per day.
And if your pH is slightly under 7.4, which is between 7.2 and 7.4, then you can get away with 1 Greens First drink a day. So that is our recommendation. The Greens First is organic. It comes in flavors. It comes in
the original flavor, which is actually kind of like a minty taste.
Pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of the greens in there that actually give that minty taste.
Yeah, so it's certified organic, has fruits and vegetables, it has barley grass. And what they do is first they juice all the leaves and then they spray dry it at low temperature, which leaves all the important nutrients and live enzymes intact. 1 scoop of Greens First has 15 plus servings of fruits and vegetables in it. So you are definitely getting your dose of alkalinity.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's your daily dose of greens.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that you don't have to eat vegetables. You still have to eat your vegetables.
Absolutely. And fruit. So there you have it. That's how you balance out your pH, and that is all about the power of pH balancing.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.